Hello, this is At the Desk. I'm your host, Ben Lee. I hope everyone is feeling better over the weekend. For me, it felt like I was slowly dying over the week. Then I was utterly destroyed Saturday morning, which is surprisingly synonymous with how the healthcare bill faced its ultimate demise at the hands of the House Republicans. Yep, you heard right. The healthcare bill to end all healthcare was pulled by Speaker and 40-year-old frat boy Paul Ryan after failed negotiations with moderate House Republicans, essentially killing the bill and keeping Obamacare here for the foreseeable future. Thank Christ. I gotta give the Republicans props for sticking to their guns, or rather their constituents, and making sure, they still had a constituency. That was alive, of course. Listening to how Trump and Bannon reacted to the fallout was, actually quite redundant. It didn't really show us anything new about the two goblins as they reacted as we probably would have expected them to react. Trump showed repeated frustrations with the Republicans he was trying to win over, eventually exclaiming to Pennsylvania's Charlie Dent, "Why am I even talking to you?" He also tweeted against the Freedom Caucus that were saying that they're essentially hypocrites for letting Obamacare live on when they themselves are very pro-life and against funding Planned Parenthood. His tweet does make sense if you don't count the rough estimate of 24 million people that would be without health insurance if this bill passed into law. In another meeting with the Freedom Caucus, Bannon lost his cool and shouted, "I don't give a shit what you guys think." Truly a strategic move, chief strategist. When people disagree with you, yell at them. It's not like cussing out the people you want on your side will get them to be on your side. That would imply that every child that yelled at their parents for not giving them the new Power Ranger action figure would eventually get it. Something tells me that Bannon would only get the White Ranger. Sometimes I really wonder about the mental health of these people, Trump and Bannon, which is actually good because if the bill passed, they would not have gotten the help that they so desperately need. This should count as a victory. It really should. We stopped the disastrous healthcare bill from replacing a flawed but competent healthcare system already in place. We get to see our human-shaped massive exfoliated skin and his proverbial Igor feel the sting of the wisdom of our founding fathers. Yet, in the end, we're back to square one. Nothing has changed. It just is. Now, for some of you, that might be great as none of the terrible promises that the Trump administration has made has come to fruition. But I don't feel a sense of accomplishment. Same as with Obama's gun control legislation and how the Republicans always block those bills. The Democrats are just blocking whatever dung comes out of Bannon's vortex from hell. My point is, we're still in gridlock, unable to pass meaningful legislation, Democratic-born or Republican-born. And that kind of makes me sad. It reflects how deeply as a country we currently are, and it'll only continue to become worse if we don't stop arguing about whether or not Trump actually got peed on by Russian prostitutes. He totally did, by the way. There are two other stories to cover, and they both deal with attacks. There was the Cincinnati nightclub shooting and the Las Vegas strip shooting. Thankfully, there are a few casualties in each attack, but the point remains. We're still shooting each other. At this point, I don't know what to say. Aurora, Orlando, Charleston, San Bernardino, Sandy Hook. But, I'm confident. I am confident that as we again look into the abyss of this senseless violence that we bring upon ourselves, I am confident that we still won't do jack about it. How many more times are we going to have this conversation? Oh, people got shot. It's a tragedy. Let's mourn. Let's forget and move on to the next thing. This is the problem with shootings and other things that happen in this world. We don't care until it happens to us. We're apathetic. And it sucks. It sucks that we live like this. But we all know how this is going to go. We'll get the same terror rhetoric that implies lack of a response. If we call this terrorism, which it is, then we will unconsciously categorize it with radical Islam and foreign threats, because that's we're being spoon-fed. we have to soon realize that we are bringing this upon ourselves and take action. We have to, as a nation, face the question of whether or not we want to continue this endless cycle of death and misery and sorrow. But as the government proved with the healthcare bill, it can't do shit. So this is the way we are all going to live our lives. People die and we will forget. It's not going to be a long time until we can finally get stuff done about this. And I have to say at least this. I do have hope that maybe we can stop focusing on what we want and maybe, just maybe, do something that benefits all of us. That's it from At the Desk. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, America.